Is that okay? It's not a glare from you. What's the school's? My email? Yeah, I'll put it up on there. All right, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. There's actually 28 people. So I guess we'll wait about to 9:45 or so. I just want to give everybody a second to get in here. This is the first day for, I don't know how many of you, just by show of hands, how many of it is your first semester? Okay. All right. All right, so in the meantime, well, I'm your instructor, Mr. Cummings. This is Math 120, Section 051. This class only meets on Monday from 9:35 to 11. So I'm gonna print the attendance out.
This contact information is also regular to the blackboard. There's a little page. If you drop down to start here, there's a button that you can put some instructor contact information. All right, I think we'll go ahead and get started. This is, once again, Statistics, Math 120. I'm your instructor, Mr. Cummings, and this is my email address, CUMMINGD
at atc.edu. Some spots on the website, they have Cummings with an S. And if you click on that and send me an email, it's going to come back like spam or some return mail. So just make sure there is no S, there's a D. This is my phone number, 803-508-7466. You're going to be able to find this stuff in other places. I'm just writing it down for, I guess, just the sake of writing stuff down. Here are my office hours. Monday and Wednesday from 12:40 to 2 o'clock. Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday from 10 to 12. And that is in room 243. All right, so the only thing I plan to do today is we're gonna go just introduce the course, show you where everything is, how everything works. We're gonna take a look at the syllabus, the addendum. By the end of class today, everyone should be registered for the course. We're gonna walk through that process. Even if you don't have the access code, there's a free 15-day access that you'll have access to the course once you leave today. And I'm gonna take the attendance. So I'm not gonna lecture over anything today. Next Monday is a holiday and we don't meet, but I'm gonna kind of offset the day we don't meet with like a video. All right, just to give you something until like the entire week without no instruction. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is take a look at Blackboard. And if you've been with us for a minute, we are using Blackboard Ultra, which is totally new. I spent all of the break trying to build this course up, just learning how to put stuff in. So hopefully everything's where it should be. All right, but this is the new Blackboard layout. I'm actually going to go in a student preview because in my view, there's a lot of things that you don't see. So I'm just going to go in a student preview. And I'm not quite sure how this new system works. I was told by the Blackboard representative or our Blackboard person here, I posted an announcement on the old Blackboard course shells we were using. The announcements when you logged in, you were able to like look at. So I asked her, I said, when I make an announcement, where are they going to see the announcement unless they go up here and click? She said, well, once you log into the course, if I post an announcement, the first thing you should see is that announcement. I don't know how true that is, but the first thing you should see is an announcement. If you don't see an announcement, I think it'll kind of clue you about this 1, 2, or 3 or whatever. So I'm just going to click on this announcement. And this was posted. It was posted more than 20 hours ago, but when you go in and make an adjustment, it shows that it was posted when you last made an edit. But this is the welcome announcement. This is, I'm your instructor. There's a nice picture of me. People who take the course, especially the online courses, I didn't put a picture like, oh, it's Mr. Cummings. And I said, well, he's a black guy. And people walk around, oh, that's what you look like. I never seen a picture, so I'm putting a picture, all right? This Blackboard site, it basically contains the course material. So here is a course ID 52542. We're going to use that in a second when we register. But this just says this site gives you general information about your course and your instructor. The majority of the activities are going to be using XYZ homework. In Blackboard, there is no grade book in Blackboard. There are no assignments in Blackboard for this course. For our online courses, we use something called Honorlock. I really don't like using Honorlock. All of the tests are to be taken home in this particular course because we only meet 1 day a week. And if I was just to block one meeting day with a test, that would kind of knock out 5 of our 16 reading days. All right, so all of the tests are taken home, but I'm not going to use Honor I just hate Honor with a passion. All right, but the only thing that's in Blackboard are the course information. There's also a link provided for extra homework, but this is where all your assignments are. Okay. All right, so when you log in, you should first see the announcement. If I post any announcements, I'm going to click on the start here, and they got it listed out in like modules. So I'm going to click this welcome again, and it's the same welcome announcement that you see once you enter the course. If I click next, here's my information again. Here's my email address, my phone number, my office, and my office hours. Okay, and I can navigate through. I don't actually know if your screens look like this or not. It does, okay. So I'm gonna click on next. And if I click on next, you can find the department syllabus. So I'm gonna click on that. This department syllabus can be downloaded and printed out if you need it. Let me just try that again. All right. I guess that don't want to work, so let me do it another way. Okay, here it is. All right, so this is Math 120. So it took a minute, but here's the syllabus. This is Math 120. This is a 3-credit-hour course. This is a transferable level math course. The prerequisites for the course of Math 102, which is intermediate algebra. This is not an algebra course. In this course, we don't, except for one section, you kind of deal with something called regression, but all of that stuff is done with the calculator, which I'm going to talk about. But in this course is an applied mathematics course, which means that in this course, unlike an algebra course, we don't find variables, we don't solve equations. These are application problems where you're going to be given a problem where you kind of read through it, you got to pick some information out, you got to know what to do with the information, how to organize it, how to analyze it, type of deal. All right. The course description, we're going to look at probability, we're going to look at some statistics, topics, we're going to talk about random variables, and then later in the course, we'll get into the distribution, the binomial distribution, the normal distribution. We talk about the central limit theorem. We talk about confidence intervals and hypothesis tests. All right, so that's the meat of the course. The required materials for this course, there is no textbook for the course, but I believe if you really wanted a textbook, if you go to the bookstore, you have to ask for the textbooks. And the textbooks now are not like the textbooks in the past where it's like hardcover books. It's like kind of hard to find a hardback book. But the book company is not selling books anymore. They're selling access to their website. So all of the information about the book can be found. I'm going to give you what's pertinent to the course, but if you want a book, you would specifically go to the bookstore and ask for a book for this course. And it's simply going to be a bunch of ran off pieces of paper with like the 3-hole punch. All right. But that is available. The only thing that's really required is an XYZ access code, and you're going to need a graphing calculator. The graphing calculator that I prefer for the course, I'll actually show you what I'm using. It is the TI outdated version that they don't even make anymore. I'm gonna use this one. Okay, if you have a TI-83, TI-83 Plus, please bring them. But if you have a TI-84, the keystrokes and stuff are the same. They may just be in different places. If you have one of those TI Inspires, I would bring that as well, because with these Texas Instruments, all the functionalities are there, they're just in different spots. So you're going to see that in one of the instances when we talk about a normal distribution and we can go in and we try to calculate a confidence interval, you're going to see that this 84 calculator is not as advanced as the 84 and the TI Inspires. So it's like the higher the number, the more functions and the better programming it has. All right. The only reason why I'm using this one is because this is the only one I can kind of bring up and go through. Okay. All right. So the calculator for the course is one of the TI-83 models. Here are the course learning outcomes, and I won't read through this stuff in its entirety. All right, but these are some of the concepts that we're going to talk about in the course. There are some ATC policies and procedures. And I'm not going to read through all of this stuff, but email etiquette, just make sure that the email you provide when you register through XYZ Homework is an email that you check quite readily. Because if I send out an announcement, I believe it goes to the emails also, but it's only going to go to the email that you choose. All right, so just choose an email, okay, that you check quite often. There's a quality enhancement program, our QEP. And for our QEP, it's the Read, Write, and Achieve culture here at Aiken Technical College. And in this math class, you will read, you will write, you will analyze, you will achieve. All right? So at the end of the semester, when it says, did your instructor tell you about the QEP, please check yes, because we just have to do that. All right, but I'm pretty sure you're familiar with the QEP. It's in all of our courses, and it should be mentioned by all of our instructors. There's a standard attendance policy. It states that you must attend at least 80% of the courses. There's a student with disabilities policy. There is a student support services policy. I'm not using HonorLock. All of the tests are take at home. So there is an academic dishonesty policy that you should read through. There's an academic integrity pledge. There's also a spot for you to sign a date, but you don't physically sign and date and return this to me. By you being registered in the course, you acknowledge all these policies, procedures in this document. All right, so when you get a minute, just take some time to read through this. All right, so that's our department syllabus. In the next link, you can find the instructor addendum. Right? And this addendum is basically the expectations of you as a student, and it gives you the basis on how your grade is calculated. All right, so once again, here's my information regurgitated again. Just making sure that everything is right. Okay, the required materials are just that access code and a graphing or TI-83 calculator. And here's the grading policy. There's just 4 categories. Homework. The homework is open all semester long. When a homework, I'll talk more about that once we get to XYZ homework. But the homework assignments are open all semester long. I encourage you to work ahead if possible. Whenever you start to have some trouble, you should get help as quick as you can, because this stuff builds on each other. I mean, it builds upon itself. All right, so you want to get some help. The tutoring center is downstairs. They have walk-in tutoring times. They have tutoring times by appointment. The 2 tutors I would recommend for statistics are Aisha Abney. Let me write it down. Well, I thought I could write it down. Aisha Abney. I should say Miss and Mr. I don't know his last name, but it's Jim. Okay, Jim is real good. All right, so those are the two statistics too that I would recommend. And also, I got to put this guy right here because I would probably try to see him first. All right. Okay, I'm going to go back to the addendum. All right, the homework is open all semester long. The quizzes are also open all semester long. The quizzes act as study guides for the test. For the quizzes, there are 3 attempts, but only the highest attempt will count towards your final average. It's practice for the test, so the more times you take the test, more times you take the quiz, whatever you make on the quiz, you should at least make that or better on the test. I would strongly advise you to take the quiz before you take the test because it basically the AI, even though they didn't call it AI back then, but the algorithm, which is what AI is an algorithm. That algorithm will kind of take the same problem, just change the numbers a little bit. All right, so I would strongly suggest to take the quiz before they take the test. Notice that everything's weighted at 25%. The tests are also 25%. Now, the tests are open all semester long, but if you take the test after the due date, there is a 10% penalty. Okay. So I want to talk some about late passes once we open up the XYZ homework, because in order for you to access these assignments after the due date, you have to use something called a late pass. Contrary to popular belief, there is no penalty for using a late pass. And I'll explain the late pass once we get to XYZ homework. And then lastly, there's a final exam. There's no final exam exemptions. Even if you have an A going into the final exam, it doesn't matter which math class. The department policy is that every student, no matter what their grade is, going into the final, you have to take the final. All right, the final exam is May the 1st, 2026, on or before midnight. Actually, May the 1st, 2026 at 11:59, that's the cutoff for the course. So anything you haven't done by this date will kind of zero out. All right, so that's like the end date for the course. All right, and then we have a regular 10-point grading scale, A, B, C, D, F, W, and I. I don't give incompletes because incompletes in the past, they just go totally to the left. If you get an incomplete, you have until next semester to finish the work you didn't complete. If you don't finish the work, it turns to an F. It's nothing the instructor can do to go back in time and kind of withdraw or anything like that. So I stay away from I's because I's, from my experience, they materialize to F's. I do not want to hurt anybody's GPA. Withdrawals. If you ever want to withdraw from my course, I'm speaking for me, not for your next instructor or the one before me. I'm always going to give you a W. It doesn't matter what point in the semester, it doesn't matter what your grade is. You'll get a W. The proper way to do that, though, because I don't withdraw students, you got to either send me an email, Mr. Cummins, I want to withdraw from your course, or you have to stop by the office or either call my number. So I'm not going to withdraw anybody, but I will give you what you earn at the end of the semester. you have to withdraw yourself. A WF, it counts as an F on your GPA. Okay. Any questions? All right, so this is the addendum. All right, pretty straightforward. Everything's 25%, and everything's basically open all semester. All right, so that is the instructor syllabus section. I'm going to click next. And this is the VitaSource course material. If you opted into the bookstore, this is where you should be able to find your access code. If you did not opt into the bookstore, there's like a 15 free day thing. You can register that way. The access code can be purchased. I'm going to bring up XYZ Homework, but it can be purchased. The code can be purchased in the bookstore. And I'm going to kind of clear my throat because in the bookstore, there's a 15% markup. Or you can buy it online. Now, according to your situation, it's a little bit cheaper to buy it online. Okay. All right, but if you've opted in, you should see your code here. All right, so I'm an instructor, so it's just showing blank, whatever. But you should see something if you've opted into the bookstore. All right, so I'm going to close that down. So those are all of the 4 links in this little start here section. Next, I'm going to click on Map 120 course materials, and it says you can find the course materials such as the daily notes and the formula sheets. And once you click on it, it pops this little link up. And I am still in the process of getting this stuff straight because before it was chapter 8, 9, and 10 or whatever we were using. And now we switched over to XYZ Homework. And now we're doing like modules. So this is how the course is set up. It's set up as either an online course, because I have an online course to this, and I also have a lecture course. So I set it up as they're all online courses. So there's a video, there's like some notes, and there's like some handouts. So this is how my class is set up. When we meet like 2 weeks from now, I'm going to go into the chapter 1, and these are the notes. All right. So you may want to print these things out because these are actually what I'll lecture from. So in class, I'm going to go through the notes. And since this class is not like a traditional math class, I don't want this to be a spectator sport where the whole entire time I'm talking. That's kind of hard for me to do the whole time, just talk and just write. And then you just sit there and just write. And then when you get home, you're like, what was this dude doing in class? So in these handouts, we go through them in class. On some of them, like this first one, there's some examples. We go through them in class. I'll kind of go through them. There's also a handout. I'm going to just go back. You should also have these during class. These are the handouts you go through during class. So I might do something on the lecture notes, like a couple of problems on the lecture notes, and I say, well, pull out the handout and you do problem number 1 and number 2. I give you like a couple of minutes or so to try to figure them out. And then we kind of go through the stuff together. Versus me just sitting up here and just talking. What do they call it? Chalk and talk, even though it's no chalk. All right, so this is the handout. And you'll notice on the handout, there are like no answers. So one of you got to come to class, or there is a video. It's like I'm no smarter than anybody else. I've just been looking at this stuff for 20 years. So this is the video, and this is actually taken during class. And you'll notice I can talk through the video, and on some spots I'll stop, and down, and then I kind of go over the stuff, all right, in class. So these videos are here for the online class purpose. I want to close this. All right, but I put them into the lecture section for supplemental instruction. Okay, so once again, that's in the lecture notes. But if you're coming to class, I would definitely have the notes and the handouts. All right. And I'm still in the process of getting all of this stuff straight. So I've got up to like the probability chapter. Okay? But before long, the 3 and 4, they're going to be kind of laid out the same way. All right. All right, so that is the lecture notes section. That's the only link there. Here is the XY homework link. So you actually got to click it, and then it kind of puts the drop down. And I'm going to click on XYZ homework. All right, so now once you register, you're going to be able to see and do everything I'm seeing. I'm just kind of going through it now. But once we register, you'll have access to both. Well, you should already have access to Blackboard now, but you'll also be able to navigate through XYZ homework. All right, so I'm in XYZ homework. I've already registered. I'm just going to choose the course, MAT 120-051. If you're purchasing the code on the website, this is a discount code. I don't know how much of a discount they give you. All right, but you can use that discount code. There is a calendar view. And then there's also a drop-down view. If you choose to go through the course using the calendar, you can simply click on the assignment, and then you're going to notice that it doesn't actually pop up anything except at the very bottom where I can, let me change to student view. All right. Okay, what happened to that discount thing? Oh. Okay, so now you should see the discount code. All right, so I'm going to click on 1.1, and then notice it pops up the lecture video here. This is the 1.1. This is actually the homework set. So if I wanted to actually start in my homework set, I'm just going to click the link. You'll notice once you go in the set, there is a class lesson. I'm just going to click on that. This is me. This is Miss Rickerball. This is our department chair. She has some videos embedded in the course. So it's like some confusion when you take it online. I didn't show a picture. You see this lady, or you hear this lady, you hear my voice. Like, man, is that a woman? This is Lynn, Miss Rickerball. She's the department chair, and these are just some supplemental videos. All right, so I'm just going to stop there. Next, I can just click on start. All right, so I click on start. This says the first question. A real estate agent surveys 36 of their recent 116 clients about the satisfaction of a new home purchase. It says, what is the sample size? So I'm going to say the sample size is 40. What is the population? Is 80. It tells me it's wrong. From this point, I can go to the next problem, or with the use of technology, I can get a similar question, and I can answer each question until I get it right. So once, twice, what is the size of the sample? I think that should be 35. And the total amount was like 75. You can answer these over and over till you get it right. So you should strive for 100% in your home. That will help your grade out tremendously. Remember, that's 25% of your grade. Okay, so you can go through and same thing. On some of the problems, there are some videos. Again, this is not my video. This is some guy from XYZ Home. but they are helpful. And some of the questions you'll see help me solve this, and on some of them I believe they have a show an example, show the solution. All right, but those are some of the things that are just embedded in the homework sections. I'm gonna go back to XYZ homework, and I have too many windows. So all right, so I'm back at XYZ homework. Okay, and you can kind of go through this calendar view. It's initially set at 4 weeks. Since this is a 16-week course, you can actually see everything laid out. And you can actually go through the course just using the calendar. Another way to access the course is through these drop-down menus. So if you look at the first one, it says Module 1. If I click on the drop-down, notice everything except it's not in the calendar format. So this says it's due January the 16th. Notice that's the same things. Here's that class lesson. There's a spot for you to view the textbook. This is laid out for every section. So you can go through the course through the drop-down menu or through the calendar. Now here's what's kind of goofy about the late pass stuff. Okay. I don't know if it'll let me do it. For example, let's say if it's the 19th and you say, well, I want to do this homework assignment. It's not going to look orange or whatever. It's going to look gray. And when you click on it, you're going to see something at the bottom that says use a late pass. So this is how goofy it is. You would have to use 1, 2, 3, 4 late passes because a late pass is like that. For each day that has elapsed, you have to use a late pass for that. So let's just say if it's the end of the semester and you want to go back and you want to do that homework, you got to use about 100 late passes. It's goofy how it works. In this course, you have unlimited late passes. Where is it, the late pass? Late pass. You can see how many late passes you have? Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. But everybody said I like 1,000 late passes. And then I'll kind of put 1,000 more toward the middle of the semester. So don't be scared to use the late passes. You're not penalized for the late passes. Okay. The only thing you're penalized for is taking the test after the due date. The late passes are just the way you access the assignments. Generally, there's a lot of questions about the late pass bill. Okay, there is no penalty. All right, so going back to XYZ homework, and this is basically XYZ homework. Everything will be done here. The quizzes will be done here. The test will be done here. For the test, there are no passwords. And I think I got the time unlimited. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So let me just close this down. Any questions about XYZ homework? So when we meet in 2 weeks, the things that you should have are the lecture notes. I'll kind of put up the part 1 and part 2. I'm going to put the video on. I can't really put the videos in it now. Well, I'll put the video. Well, the video is right here. If you want to look at it, I would print up the notes and the handouts for part 1 and part 2. Because I'm going to skim through part 1, but part 2, when we get to the frequency distribution and a lot of calculations, I'll just kind of slow it down. All right, so any questions about Blackboard or about XYZ?
I see that there's a homework discussion forum. How does that work? Because for my college algebra course, we had XYZ homework, but we didn't have any forums.
They're not using the course. You see a forums?
It's close to the.
Let me go on the student view. Oh, it's up here. Yeah, we don't use forums in this course. That's for some online, because for online courses, we got to do discussion boards. And then some instructors may use these forums. But there are no discussion boards and no forums in this course. All right. All right. Any other questions? All right. So, well, I didn't talk about the attendance part. For the attendance, I don't take roll at all. I know that the thing it says 80% of the courses, you must attend at least 80% of the courses, but I only check roll the first couple of weeks. That's because after the first couple of weeks, we have to put in no-shows. I don't withdraw anybody. So if you want to withdraw, just communicate to me that you want to withdraw. And let me just turn this on. Just communicate to me that you want to withdraw. I don't give incompletes. We only meet one day a week, so the only thing we do in class is go through the next lecture notes. I try to prepare you for the test, and the final exam. Everything that you see on those lecture notes, they're test questions. So as we kind of go through this stuff in class, like I go to the handout, do problem number 1 and 2, those are actually examples of test questions that you're doing. All right. So there is a benefit in these handouts and the lecture notes. All right. So as far as the itinerary, we did the introduction, the syllabus, the addendum. Now I would like everyone to register for the course. In order to register for the course, if you opted into the bookstore, you should go to Blackboard. You should pull up the L. Did I make that available? Oh yeah, you want to go on the start here. I'm forgetting where stuff is. You want to click on this VitaSource bookstore. You want to find our class, Math 120-051. You want to copy that code. Once you copy the code, you then want to go into XYZ homework. If you're brand new to XYZ homework, you want to create an account as a student. Now, if you don't have your access code material, you still want to visit XYZ homework and you want to hit student account. Okay, when you hit student account, you want to put in your information. You want to use the email that you check quite readily. And then I think once you go through this, it's going to give you the option for that 15-day free trial. But you're going to need the course ID, which is, where is it? 52542. So this is the course ID. 52542. If you can see that, it's 52542. That's the course ID. Once you put that in, when you log in, you should see this Math 120-051. And this will let me know who is. Is that everybody? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 18, 20. eyes are bad. Real bad. All right, I'm going to take the attendance and, okay, that's another thing. Normally I don't show people grade books, but this is the goofy part about XYZ homework. Let's say if you go into a homework set, you only answer a couple of questions, and then if you exit out, it's going to grade you on the 2 problems out of the 16 or whatever, and your score is going to look real bad. You're going to see that your score is going to zigzag. When you go into assignment, if you just open it up, if you don't answer any questions, it's going to give you a 0. That's just how it works. Take the grade, your final average, with a grain of salt, because it will like zigzag once you start working these assignments. And then once you get a bunch of assignments under your belt, you're going to see that it's not going to really zigzag the final grade. All right. So at this time, I'm going to take the attendance. And if it is anything you'd like to be called, just let me know. And if I mispronounce your name, please correct me. Okay, and I gotta turn that down because I can't even read that. So, let me try. Nope. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull up the roster and we can be out of here for the day. Thanks. Aberdina, I pronounced that right? Yeah. Okay. Is present. Halima. Hajumo. Gwendolyn Atkins is present. Isabel is present. Balin is present. Christopher is present. Imani is present. Sydney is present. Diamond is present. Brad Gibbs. Theodore present. Sorrell is present. I pronounced that right? Okay. Shatarian, I pronounced that right? Okay, it's present. Gabriella is present. Kayla, present. Elisa, Morris, I can't see. Toby, present. How do you pronounce your name? Toby, okay. Brittany, present. Anthony, present. David, David Paulman. Alea is present. Leah is present. Gina, Ginger Stevens, present. Michael Sylvester, LaDiamond Washington, Olivia Williams, present. Tony Williams, and Elizabeth Wilson. Okay. And lastly, is everyone registered in XYZ homework? I believe they are. All right, so that's the only thing on the agenda for today. I just want to make sure everyone that here is registered. We don't meet next week. I would suggest you visit the lecture notes that you watched this first video. It's kind of explaining the introductory video. Watch that video. When we meet on the next Monday, not next Monday, but the Monday after next, you should print up the notes and the handouts for the first two parts. All right, any questions about anything before we dismiss? I will no questions. See you all on the 25th? No, 26th. Uh-huh. It's a month? Okay, let me check that. You sent it to the email?
Can you multitask? Why are you doing that? So can you multitask?
Yeah.
Can this work?
For what?
Class. Or no?
That's
or just go old fashioned?
Well, now they do have a TI emulator. Is that it?
It looked like it.
My eyes are bad.
Oh my goodness.
It looked like it. But I don't think that's it.
Okay.
It's something called the TI. It's something in the App Store on the Play Store that it'll emulate that on your cell phone. I'll email my previous students because they were telling me about it. They didn't buy one. They said it's some kind of program you can download. It's free. It's an app.
Okay.
And it makes your phone do the exact same thing that calculator does.
Gotcha.
Okay. Uh-huh. Okay, Liv. What was the last name? Okay, you know that. Okay, Liv. I got you. Okay, have a good one.
Okay.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah, that'll work. So everything's set up like there's no time limit or anything on the test and no password or anything like that. So yeah, everything's already set up. Okay.
Oh, that's why I had asked for the email at the beginning.
I got you.
Also, I was working on the.
I got you. Yeah, I ain't mean to put you on blast like that.
It's all good.
But that's how it works, though.
Yeah, but I am confused though, but I'm trying to do it just based on.
Okay.
Since, when it got down to the multiple choice, I'm getting confused on the statistics
A statistic.
in the sample.
A statistic describes a sample, and the population parameter describes a population. I can't see that. All right. For some strange reason, my eyes are just, I don't know what's wrong. You know, I might take you over there. My mama keeps saying, "Boy, you know you need some glasses."
It'll help a lot.
I think it will, because I'm just like my
Have you
vision.
ever worn glasses?
You know, I was supposed to. My vision just getting worse.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just stop this.